We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet. We are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. We have Kristan Mikala. How's it going?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Tom. Thank you so much for having me. This is such an honor to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. I randomly ran across your Instagram page. That's kind of been the motto for 2025 is just let's keep it random.
Yeah.
And some people vibe with it, some people don't, but that's okay. So
it's too short to nitpick that. And I've met some amazing people on Instagram. It's been such a great conduit for connection. So always tell me.
Yep. It's one of those things where it's just like, I get in this habit of like just doom scrolling Instagram, but and I've just find some of the most amazing musicians, and it's just like through the suggested connections thing, and it's like, okay, Instagram, I see you. I see what you're doing here. So
setting up all the musical trysts for us. It's a win.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, excited to have you here. Excited to talk about your new single that you just dropped a few weeks back. It's hard to believe Valentine's Day was a few weeks ago already.
Time stopped feeling real in 2020. I'm going to be real. So now I'm just not objective. It's hey, today is a day, and I'm going to try and do the things I need to in this day. And that starts over tomorrow. And I don't know what tomorrow is either, but hey, we're living our best lives.
Hey, actually, that's very prolific. Every day is a lifetime.
You're not wrong.
That's like a t-shirt or something.
You should market that. I'd buy one.
Fair. I love it. So what's kind of your background story? I know you moved to Nashville a few years ago. Like, what got you into music? Stuff like that.
Well, goodness. I love music ever since I was teeny tiny. And fortunately, my folks made sure I was very, very well schooled in the classics. Like my stepdad, he listened to two different genres, country and Western. But no, he also liked some Southern rock. And then my mom, she schooled me on a lot of like 80s rock and stuff like that. And as I got older, I ventured into all sorts of different genres and found so much to love in the world. I was always a kid with a lot of big feelings. As a musician, I'm sure that's shocking. And so I always loved music, loved Disney movies, loved anything musical. And I started writing poems as a very sensitive child, and then kind of progressed to lyrics set to music, which is close to a song. And it was set to the idea of music in reality. And then I learned guitar, and I started writing like full songs. So lyrics, melody, instrumentation, all that. And yeah, haven't looked back since.
Fair. I like the Blues Brothers reference you dropped there a little bit ago.
Iconic. My sister and I watched that movie, and we'll occasionally just make these random references with each other. It's great. It's great.
I have an affinity to it, obviously, because it's an iconic movie and an iconic music movie, but it also took place in and around my hometown.
Really?
Yeah. Like Joliet and that whole area, that's where I grew up. So
really? Oh my gosh. So my stepdad actually grew up in that area. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very cool.
So kind of growing up, when did you was there like a moment you realized like this was something you were meant to do, or was it just kind of like a gradual thing?
Oh no. So I was playing at this Opry regularly, and that wasn't my start in music. I had my first paid gig at like 14, but they said they needed someone to kind of, just sing with them. I was super cheap, obviously, and they needed the help, and so I kind of threw myself into that. I loved it, and then one of the people there started getting weird, and I wasn't cool with it. And so I talked to the owners and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna have to cut some costs. Sorry, we're letting you go." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that sucks. I'm really sad about that." And then I'm like, "Wait a second. I can still do this. I don't have to do this here. I love this. I've got people who care about me, people who want to come and hear me sing and, hear me play. This isn't the end. This is just a detour, if anything, a redirection to something that's better suited to my needs." And so after that, I dug my heels in and ended up doing it full time, which was such a gift. I really loved that and was touring all up and down in the southeast and like North Florida, Southwest Georgia, Southeast Alabama, some in Tennessee, and yeah, it was amazing. And then I reached a point where I wanted more. I wanted to challenge myself more, and I wanted to be the least talented person in every room. And so I moved to Nashville, and I have greatly succeeded. It's been wonderful. Mostly, it's like, oh gosh, these people are so freaking brilliant. There's so much for me to learn. But yeah, it's really wonderful to be around people you can learn from all the time, people who hold you accountable, people who say, hey, maybe that idea is not the best. Let's do something a little different. And then you can actually serve the song and make something amazing. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah.
I I love that mentality because I feel like a lot of people go for the exact opposite. They want to be the smartest person in the room. And it's like, nah, you want to challenge yourself. You want to grow. You want to become the best musician. So
Uh,
try and find a room where people are giving you feedback and that criticism and trying to make you better. Otherwise, you're
yeah,
just going to stagnate.
exactly. No, it's being the most talented, whatever that means, in a room. That is so safe and so
Hmm.
secure. And it's a great way to stroke your own ego. And it's an even better way to never grow and never progress as a
Hmm.
person and never develop as an artist. And I've seen that happen with a lot of people. And if that works for them, that's great. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Even if nobody ever knows my name, I want to feel like I'm always progressing as a person and
Hmm.
as an artist. And so, yeah, this is definitely a good town for it.
Right, right, right. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like in any room, if you go in with an open mind, you can learn anything from anyone.
Yeah,
And there's always different life experiences. And the fact that you're aware of that is really cool.
I am really grateful to have had a lot of people hold me accountable over the
Hmm.
years and people who were supporting me and wanting me to grow. And
Hmm.
just having that in my corner is enough to kind of push me forwards to seek out opportunities to
Hmm.
better myself and honestly increase the quality of what I write and what I perform for the people who do give a damn about me. Like
Hmm.
I'm not owed that. So the least I can do is step up my game whenever I've got the option.
Right, right, right. And that's kind of been the birth of Live and Amplified was we just want to help people. Like we don't, I know we don't have the biggest platform out there. Like we're not Bobby Bones or anything like that, but we can help people. We can promote people. We can make a difference. But on the other end, I'm not going to drag people through this. Like I'm not going to drag you to a record deal or drag you to the Ryman or, like anything
Yeah.
like that. Like you've gotta wanna gotta wanna do it.
Expecting you to do that for me as an
Mm-hmm.
artist, expecting that type of labor
Mm-hmm.
from other people into my career
Mm-hmm.
is ridiculously obnoxious and entitled. And that is not
Yet
a vibe for me.
yet it is still very common.
And that is why people are where they are in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cases. So,
Yeah. 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 And it's one of those things where it's just like I've had a lot of friends, close friends, acquaintances that we've worked with and we've done a whole lot of podcasts with, but then once they stop trying, it's like, well,
yeah,
why am I trying to put in this effort if you're not even willing to meet me at the front door to open
they've
it for you?
disrespected your time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
uh, I love that. So you've been in Nashville now since 2019, right? Or was it?
I think it was 2019. Time
Yeah.
isn't real, you
Okay.
know?
So right
Either
before the
2018 or
pandemic.
2019. Yeah, it
Okay.
was right before the pandemic, right before everything just went absolutely chaos. And I feel like, I don't know, people have been at each other's throats since, and it's a tough situation. I hope for progress.
Yeah, absolutely. How's Nashville changed you as a musician? Obviously going into the mindset of wanting to not be the smartest person in the room or the best person in the room. How has Nashville helped you grow as a musician? Like, have you learned how to write better? Have you like has it helped improve your writing, your playing, your singing? Like, where do you think you've improved the most?
I hope so. Otherwise, I've wasted my time and everybody else's too. I think I think it's really deepened my understanding of how small a world the music
Mm-hmm.
industry is. Um, Everybody knows somebody, and one of the things I love about Nashville is you can be the most talented person in the world, and if you're an asshole, eventually you're going to get blacklisted and nobody's going to want to work with you, and you're going to go home complaining about how Nashville just didn't understand you and you're a special snowflake and you're above all of that and it's all Nashville's fault when
Mm-hmm.
in reality you were just a prick and people
Mm-hmm.
didn't like
That's a fact. Like, I mean, that's anywhere, you know?
really like it's not hard to be a decent person and
Mm-hmm.
care about other people. And I mean, yeah, there's people who, you know, quote unquote make it who I personally don't feel are the sweetest of individuals, but
Mm-hmm.
if you go around feeling sorry for yourself and blaming everyone else for your problems, your lack of success, your lack of accountability, you deserve to be where you are. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. I've seen
people don't
people.
say that, and I probably shouldn't say that, but here we are.
Yeah, it happens. You know, I've seen people get run out of the smallest of music scenes, not even like Nashville. Like I'm talking, I've seen musicians get run out of Roswell, New Mexico, which is a music scene of like maybe 30 active musicians. And
That's
I say active with a lot of quotations around it because, you know,
yeah.
so um but
Massive.
it's just one of those things where it's like if you don't treat anybody with respect, you're not going to get any back and they're going to end up kicking you out. So,
Yeah. And ultimately for me, this is all about connection and growth.
mm-hmm.
And the people who I'm lucky enough to have love me, the least I can do is treat them well. And the people who give me the time of day to work with me, to write with me, to record with me, they deserve respect and consideration. And yeah, if I can't do that, I really should take my ass home.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, how's how's the response? You just dropped a new. Sorry, I was going to try and transition it into your new single, but it just didn't transition right. So I'm like, whatever.
That was great.
Oh,
Good.
so you just dropped your new single over right on Valentine's Day. How's the response been on that?
Yeah, I've been really grateful. People seem to really like that song when I play it out, and it's one of the more requested tunes that I've written. One of my best friends, Leah, this is her favorite, so she was so excited when I finally recorded and released it. But yeah, it's been fortunately really well received. I've had some playlists pick it up, and want to include that with some other amazing music. And yeah, it seems to be going well. I'm really grateful for it. I've been watching the vanity metrics of the streams continually increase, and I'm definitely grateful for it.
It sounds like somebody's watched one of my podcasts or two, because
You
that is
know,
exactly how I've referred to it.
have you? Okay, so I've
Yeah.
I've checked out your podcasts before this just so that I kind of knew what I was getting
Mm-hmm.
into, but I actually had not heard you say vanity metrics. So we are simpatico here on the
Yeah.
same damn page.
Well, that's because I did it once and I may or may not have had a beer or two before the podcast, which isn't my normal MO, but that day it was a rough day at work and it's like I'm going to need take the edge off here a little bit.
Sure.
And I just kind of because the artist I had on was like really concerned about like streams and stuff like that, and it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I was just like, no, those are vanity metrics. Those don't matter. What matters is selling tickets. And she got a little offended, and I was like, I didn't mean to offend you. Like I wasn't trying to call you vain or anything. Like that wasn't the intent. And yeah, so.
I didn't see that one. That is hilarious. And, I think that was a growth opportunity for her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she's brilliant and talented and a
Oh,
delight, but yeah, the numbers at the end of the day, they have value, but they don't genuinely reflect the connections you're making with other people. And they
mm-hmm.
also don't necessarily reflect your ability to sell out a venue or sell music or sell t-shirts. And yeah, I think it's just we all have our own different
Mm-hmm.
perspective of success. That one's not mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I mean, we started doing this live podcast thing where we go out to like a venue and it works like a writer's round or like a musician showcase type thing, except we record it as a podcast. And, you know, everybody's more like everybody that I bring on is worried about the numbers of the podcast. And it's like, yeah, that's part of it. And it does like that does matter because it's a podcast. Like I get it. But what really matters is how many butts we can put in that seat. Because if I can take this, we went and did a restaurant this past Sunday actually, and we had 60 people there. We filled out this restaurant, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is freaking amazing. Given that the first one we did back at CMA Fest, we had 4 people.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is astronomical growth, and that's something that you can build on. I mean, it's just
yeah,
60 people. If they, even if, I don't know, 10 of
yeah,
them buy a t-shirt,
yeah.
that's an extra $200 in revenue for
Right.
the artist. So, I mean,
Yeah,
don't scoff at that shit. Just
yeah,
be grateful.
yeah. And it's just one of those things where it's like the podcast numbers, y'all aren't going to make any money off of that. I don't make any money. I don't make any money off of it. So what we need to be worried about is these live shows, because if we can get to a point where we can go into like a listening room type thing and charge $5 for people to come in, then we split it 6 ways or whatever it is. Everybody just made a little bit of money. Congratulations.
You're doing what you want to do on your own terms. You've got new people listening to you. You've got people who
Mm-hmm.
are familiar with you listening to you. It's a win-win. And if you don't
Mm-hmm.
like it, quit being a little bitch.
Yeah. Fair, fair, fair. I love it. I love how unfiltered you are right now, and you were concerned about
You
that.
told me that I could use the wordy dirties, Tom. You
Yes,
gave
I
me
know.
brain,
Yes,
so
I did.
that
Yes, I did. I
the most
100%.
important thing to me in life, whether I'm on an interview, I'm snuggled down with my husband, I'm
Mm-hmm.
out with friends, I'm playing a show, it's really important that I maintain authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do the filter thing for too long. I can if you need me
Mm-hmm.
to, I'll behave, but I don't know. I think the people who are invested in what I do value me because I'm authentic.
Yeah.
And if anything, I'd be doing them a disservice if I started, pretending to be something I'm not.
Right. 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 I know. I love it. So don't stop. Just keep doing your thing. It's just one of those things where it was very funny. Like in the back of my head, I was like, oh, she'll let one fly every once in a while, but it's not going to be that bad. And then it's just like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. So
I can behave. Okay. I
no,
can.
no, 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 no. No, I don't not. Well, I was about to say I don't want you to behave, but just do what's authentic to you. So,
That's fair. That's fair.
um, so looking at your Spotify, you've got a lot of like acoustic stuff. Is that kind of what you're working on right now? Is doing like a lot of an acoustic project, or where do you kind of what's kind of going
Yeah.
on right now?
So I've got basically just a handful of songs I recorded at a studio here in Nashville called
Mm-hmm.
Vinyl Archaeology. Really solid studio, some amazing gear, and the head honcho there is Tom Vrem, who's he's a close friend of mine, just brilliant man. And so I've been releasing some of the songs that I recorded there over time. Eventually, I would like to kind of build up enough buzz with the stuff I've already recorded and maybe, work on raising some funds to do a full, like nuanced, full band kind of record. But yeah, it's a lot cheaper, and
Hmm.
I'm self-funding all this. And
Hmm.
so yeah, if you limit the elements and limit the people you got to have at the studio, then it's a little bit easier to release music and just kind of start making new friends that way.
Hmm. Right. I I love acoustic music for that exact reason because there's not a whole lot of like flashy extra stuff going on,
Yeah.
and it really showcases the musicianship. But the problem that and this is, I don't know if it's uh, specific to me or if it's a common thing, and maybe you could shed some light on this. When I hear somebody performing acoustic music and they perform like if I go to a show and it's acoustic music, or if I like on Spotify, it's all acoustic music, and then they start releasing something different, it's hard for me to adjust to that.
That is a change. It is a definite jump for sure.
Yeah, because
Uh,
I don't know. Yeah, is that something that you've heard before, or
yeah,
yeah,
no, it makes perfect sense. Any deviation from what's become the norm for an artist can be really uncomfortable for some of their listeners. It's perfectly understandable. I mean, you've got
mm,
this connection with this person, you're used to what they do, and then, oh, hey, this is a wild card. What do I do with that? But
right?
and and honestly, sometimes when people transition from acoustic recordings to like something fully produced and something like
Mm-hmm.
fleshed out, there's a learning curve with that, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not always up to the level of quality control that their current listenership is
Right.
comfortable with. So yeah, it makes sense. I think I try to give other artists a chance. I've had artists that I was practically obsessed with. They would do like something really, really good, just really consistently, really well, and then they would do a 180.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of whiplash for me too.
Yeah.
I would give it a chance, and usually I would love it, and sometimes I wouldn't. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, that's just a risk you take. But
Yeah.
it's we're not curing cancer here. Like what we're doing,
Yeah.
art matters. Art has worth and value, and I feel it's really important. But it's really important to keep it in the proper framework. We're not curing cancer.
Mm-hmm.
We're really lucky to get to do what we do, and nothing's going to resonate with everyone, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's the mindset every musician needs to have. Like, you don't like every song you hear, so why do you expect everyone to like every song of yours?
Yeah, no, my perspective is the music I write and the music I release is more about, not to sound trite, this is
Mm-hmm.
probably going to sound super trite, but it's about finding my tribe. It's
Mm-hmm.
about finding the people who connect with who I am and, my view of the world, and bringing value to them.
Mm-hmm. 100%. It's one of those things where it's like, and I think Nashville does this really well, is finding that tribe. It seems to work really well in Nashville for like you're I don't know, but Nashville seems to be have a setup to have these little communities, but they all work within one bigger community. Everybody's there to support everybody, but you have to stay authentic to who you are. And I think Nashville has a tendency, at least on the independent level, to try and reward that.
I'm completely with you. The town can be a little cliquey, that's
Yeah.
for sure. And if you're the kind of person who's really, really passionate about writing the next radio hit,
Mm-hmm.
investing your time in someone like me is not going to be something you're going to enjoy, because I've got a different view of what success is. I've got a different perspective on how I want to connect with my audience. But I feel like both are very valid in their own ways. And so I try to write with as many people as I can, because I feel like I can always, I feel like I write better with other people sometimes than I do on my own.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean every write's a good write, you know?
Sure.
Sometimes it's like, oh, and then sometimes it's like, is this my new best friend? I think this is my new
Sure.
best friend. So it's
Right.
always a crapshoot.
Right. And I actually, it's funny. I had this conversation with somebody, I think the podcast released earlier this week, about like writing sessions and group writing sessions and stuff like that, and how it's an investment in time, and you have to sometimes just take a chance to see if it's going to work, but then the second you know it's not going to work, you have to be the one, or hey, I like your music, but we do not work
Yeah.
together writing. So
Yeah. Yeah. And you can be polite about it and you can still
mm-hmm.
be supportive of them, but being aware of, just like a difference in style, difference in value. At the end of the day, I want to serve the song.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about me. It's not about my ego. I want to write a damn good song. And my favorite people are the ones with a similar perspective where like it's really important that I can approach a write with just radical honesty and this sense of safety to throw out absolute dog shit ideas. I've written some terrible songs over the years, and I think that's part of the process. Quality comes from quantity, but yeah, just working with other people who have that openness and that willingness to be vulnerable in
Mm-hmm.
their writing. I think that's where the best ideas come from.
Right. I've never heard that saying before. Quality comes from quantity. That actually makes so much sense, because sometimes you just got to get the dog shit out of the way so that the gourmet chocolate bar can.
Hey, I feel seen.
So, uh, I love it. So with everything you're kind of working on now, is I'm guessing you're just kind of staying like in the singles realm until you can kind of get to
Yes.
funding for a fuller project.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Paying for this stuff is no joke. But right now, I'm just focused on. I'm still playing some writers rounds, but for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, I I'm just trying to write good songs with good people
Yeah.
and build up this ridiculously large catalog of music I think is worth sharing with people. And at the same time, I also have a band that
Mm-hmm.
I just put together recently. We've got our first show coming up, and we're gonna do mostly covers with that. And just staying busy with that and developing myself as an artist, kind of staying in touch with, people who care about what I do and reading books on music and spending time with my dog and husband. I'm
Feel that.
exciting.
Yeah. You know what though? You sound balanced though. Like everything just sounds like it works perfectly, and you got to respect it.
Well, I
So,
really appreciate that. It's been a long ass road to get here, but I yeah, I feel pretty well adjusted. I feel really supported and I feel safe enough to be completely honest, and that's more valuable than I can say.
100%. So with this full band, is it what kind of music are you playing? Is it
So we're doing covers from different genres. We're doing a lot of like just modern American rock and some country covers, and it's just all pretty fun stuff. Mostly either top 40s or some really cool B-sides, just to kind of keep it
yes?
spicy. And we're doing some of the traditional Broadway standards, but we're also doing some songs that you're not going to typically hear if you go downtown here in Nashville, if you go to the VFW or your local watering hole. So it's important that we keep this balance of fun and familiar, and then also, oh, I remember hearing that, but oh, I haven't heard that in a few years.
Mhm.
Okay.
Nice. And is that kind of the intent with the band, is to be a little bit more Broadway friendly, or do you hope one
Yeah.
day to like do
Oh no.
originals?
We're going to be doing originals too. Um, I just also want to do the Broadway thing because it's fun and
Mm.
it's lucrative when you're working with people who are talented. And fortunately, I have been successful in bullying a handful of talented people into working with me. So yeah, just having some solid players in my corner for all the things I have coming up. That's
Hmm.
that's the ultimate goal, and keeping them busy and paid.
Nice. I love it. And it's good that Broadway, well, I guess I can't say Broadway pays, but it's good that there's some financial compensation involved.
It can pay. Nobody who works for or with me is going to go unpaid. I think that's
Okay.
really important. Unless it's for charity, that's totally different. But in 99% of the cases, people who work with me get paid. And
Hmm.
if that means that I have to pay them out of pocket and take the L, okay. But, you're not going to perform this labor for me that I'm not entitled to without some form of compensation and appreciation. That's really
Hmm.
important to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to get to that point, but when we're doing these live podcasts and I'm barely scraping by, like running out of gas to get to the venue, it's like, sorry guys.
It's a
Yeah.
whole different thing, though.
Yeah.
Originals and covers are completely different ball games,
Hmm.
and there's a different level of ease in monetizing things.
Hmm.
So, yeah, no, what you're doing is ridiculously valuable, and it's something people should be grateful for because you're giving, especially just like new artists, an outlet and a
Hmm.
way to connect with people. This is a foot in the door, and you're not saying, "Oh, I'm going to pay you an exposure, but you're going to bring in 200 people and sell the alcohol, and we're going to give you a high five."
Yeah.
That's a totally different thing, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get started on that because I'm gonna behave today.
Fair.
But
It
yeah, no,
sounds
what you do is valuable. So don't ever second guess that. What you do is should be appreciated by the artists.
I appreciate that. It's one day we'll have to get the unfiltered podcast. We'll have to break it out a little unfiltered.
This is pretty unfiltered, so this is mostly filtered. I try not to be painfully blunt. I try to kind of skirt the line, but not take it too far.
I was talking to a friend of mine, and we are literally starting a second podcast just so we can have those unfiltered conversations.
I love that with a deep and abiding passion, and you need to invite me to that. Count me
I
in.
I will. We're trying to figure it out right now because it's like I don't want it to be 100% music based just because, but like if music comes up, I'm not going to be mad at it. So,
I'm ready. It's a big world out there.
right? So, um so kind of looking forward, where are you kind of at creatively right now? I mean, obviously you just released a new song not too long ago, but are you writing, recording? Where are you kind of at?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not recording right now,
Mhm.
but I've got a massive list of songs already that I want to start making demos for.
Nice.
Fortunately, my absolute delight of a husband is also my guitarist. He is stupidly talented. It's rude of him, honestly, to be that talented. But he's also got a background in production, so we're gonna start doing some home recordings of just like home demos
Hmm.
of all the songs that I care about and that I think people who care about me will connect with. And then from there, I think I might start kind of releasing those not on all streaming platforms, but just to the people who are interested and figure out which ones they want to hear, in a full band version, proper recording. So yeah, keep doing that. But yeah, I've got co-writes, multiple co-writes pretty much every week. People who either, I want to create with for myself or they're, preparing to release their own records or
Hmm.
even just singles and helping them tell their stories is the best feeling ever. It is so exciting to help other artists, other creatives find ways to kind of process their perspective, their feelings, their experiences, and then put that into a song so that their fans, their supporters can hear that. And yeah, it's really exciting for me.
Nice. I love it. I love it so much. And you'd mentioned that you're doing more writers rounds as far as like shows and stuff right now, or?
Yeah, well, so I do still play writers rounds.
Hmm.
I did a lot of them since I've been here, and I've kind of pulled back a little bit. I like going to hear other artists,
Yeah.
and I've made some beautiful friends there, but also tired. Okay, I'm tired. I've got so many irons in the fire, so in most cases, I'll play shows if somebody reaches out and asks me to join a round. I'm happy to. It's always an honor, but I'm not seeking that out in most cases, just
Okay.
because I'm already an introvert, man. I love people. I truly do, but I need my alone time, my recharge time, and Like if I'll go out with friends and it'll be a long, hangout session, it's delightful. And then I need to not talk to people for like 1 to 2 business days.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's it's a grind out there. Like, I don't know. It takes a lot of energy to be that proactive and like in front of people. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how people do it, but
I reached a point in my life where I realized I can't do everything I want to do. I've got some medical stuff, premenstrual dysphoric disorder being one of them, which it can cause, some physical pain and chronic
Mhm.
fatigue and all sorts of a fun grab bag. So there are gonna be days where I can't do everything I want to do. And I can either just get really mad at myself about it or I can give myself grace. And it's easy for me to give other people grace. It's a process for me. My husband's been bullying me into being a little gentler with myself about that. So we're making progress. But yeah, I can only do what I can do. And I'm just accepting that at this point.
Fair, fair. I dig it. It's it's one of those things where it's like having that awareness that you can't be on all the time is invaluable. Like knowing that yes, there's value in being out in front of people and doing what you love and playing music and doing the shows. But if you're just going through the motions because you feel like you have to,
Yeah.
that's going to do more harm than good in the long run because it's going to make people resent you because, oh, she's phoning it in. We can tell. And
Hmm.
then you're also going to resent the industry because, oh, I had to phone it in because if I don't play 12 nights a week on Broadway,
Yep.
then I'm not going to get anywhere, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's really easy to just overwork yourself to the point of burnout in
Mm-hmm.
the industry, but I think the music industry in particular makes that even harder, especially with the culture, including a lot of fun chemical dependencies that can kind of lead you off the path you're looking for. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're inherently wrong, in moderation, but there's part of the culture here is just kind of over drinking, over indulging in other fun things.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of slowly lose yourself and end up bitter and jaded and burnt out and blaming everybody else. And it's not healthy. It's not
Mm-hmm.
sustainable.
Right.
So
This
yeah,
is this is the only chemical dependency I have.
there you go. Yeah, caffeine's my
Minus
go-to.
minus the beer, but that's just I don't drink like that and because I am getting older and unless I'm going to go like 6 or 7 beers deep, it's not worth it.
That's fair. I'll definitely indulge in moderation, but I know that if I push too hard, it's not going to be good for me. And, I don't want to the idea of overindulging to the point of being a burden to other
Mm-hmm.
people feels selfish. And it also means that, if I were to show up at a show and I'm already 3 sheets to the wind, that's so inconsiderate of my audience. In most cases, they paid money to see me. What version of me do they deserve,
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there are people who can play that way and put on a great show, and that's delightful for them. I'm just not one of them. So,
All right. I feel it. Self-awareness again, you know? So
valuable. Yeah.
yeah, it is. It really is. So outside of music, what do you like to get into?
My dog. I love obsessing over my dog like a freaking weirdo. So I love animals. I work with them professionally on the side a little bit, and my dog is a rescue dog from the Nashville Humane Association. I also volunteer with them when I've got the time to, and yeah, it's great. And then I actually really love cooking.
Nice.
It's such a domestic thing to say, but it's a really fun creative outlet that literally nourishes other people. Like that, how powerful is that?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I travel somewhere new, I always try to take a cooking class, like something super
Nice.
duper local,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always really fun. I feel like it's enhanced my skills, and the one thing that is very important to me is, I don't underseason my food.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get too salty with it because that's not good for anybody's heart. But like we're gonna have flavor, we're gonna have nuance, we're gonna have
Right.
color, we're gonna have texture. It's gonna be a delight, okay? That's what you
Hmm.
get.
Yeah. But it is amazing what a little bit of salt will do to that flavor.
You need a little sprinkle. Very important. You
Right.
can't do without it. It's just I feel like sometimes we go a little overboard with it and that's
Right.
okay for them, but for me, I want the bulk of the flavor experience to come from like herbs and spices and
Mhm.
all that good stuff.
Right. The one thing I started doing was when I make pasta, I would pre-salt my water.
Yep.
And I had never done that before. And now that I do that, I won't eat pasta unless that water's been salted.
Yes, I heard the Italians say it's supposed to be as salty as the sea, and
Mm-hmm.
I always pre-salt my water. My husband was actually a little skeptical the first time he saw me do it because he would salt his water, but it would be like a light sprinkle, you
Yeah,
know?
no, I take the 69-cent tub thing that you can get at any grocery store and just like, eh,
Full
yeah,
on sprinkle action. Yeah. And since then he was like, yeah, that actually worked out amazingly. I'm really impressed. Please keep
mm-hmm.
doing that. And I'm gonna start doing that too. And I'm like, yeah, that's the way we do it.
You want to step it up a notch?
Yeah.
Garlic salt.
Garlic goes in everything. Love is stored in the garlic. That's
Yeah,
I say that at least once a week. Love is
right,
stored in the garlic.
right. So what I do is I'll put like as much salt as I put in, I'll put in like a quarter of garlic salt. So like it's let's say I put in like 3 tablespoons of salt. I don't know. Like I freehand it anymore, but
Sure.
like yeah.
Freestyle.
So let's say like 3 tablespoons of salt. You put
Mhm.
in like 3/4 of a tablespoon of garlic salt, and it just
In the
takes
water?
that yeah in the water.
What? Okay, I would give it a shot. I would give it a shot. I will say, I feel like I do overdo it on the garlic and onion a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
only for my husband and I because I know not everybody is going to be as much of a garlic fiend as we are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, you gotta have
Yeah.
all the good herbs and spices for
Oh yeah.
sure.
The garlic salt works so well. Like if you're gonna use like butter or something, like depending on what you're using, but that garlic just
Okay,
chef's
I
kiss.
will give that a shot. Thank you for the heads
Yeah.
up there.
Absolutely. So kind of looking forward, what do you got coming out? What do you got going on the next couple of weeks, months? Do you have any big shows, anything like that, or?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited. Um, so I do live streams every Monday on TikTok, and that's been really fun. It's kind of kept me sharp even in the slower times. So that's a given. Assuming I don't like feel like absolute butt. I will take a day off if I need to. I
Yep.
feel guilty about it, but I'm getting to where I'm like, you know what? The people who care about me understand. I'm
Yep.
not going to overthink it. But we've actually got a show coming up on the 21st. It's going to be our band's debut.
Nice.
And I'm going to be recording it. It's going to be really fun. It's here in Nashville in the Donaldson area. And it's at my all-time favorite local spot called Fat Bites, and that's Phat Bites.
Nice.
They've got really like quirky, eccentric decor. The staff there is just delightful,
Hmm.
like truly delightful people. And yeah, so we're gonna set up and have ourselves our debut show, and it's gonna start at 10 p.m. on March 21st.
Nice. I love it. I love it so much. It's oh man, the debut show. What's running through your mind right now? Like, are you nervous? Are you ready? Are you like,
Not ready. I'm gonna be
right?
straight up with you. I'm not ready. Um, I'm not really nervous. Uh, because I've got time to get the things down that I need to
Hmm.
get down, and the people I'm playing with are just brilliant and reliable and trustworthy people. So
Hmm.
I have all the faith in the world in them. So as long as I'm pulling my weight as the front woman, we'll be fine. And so that just means that, I'm finalizing the set list now and I'm gonna focus on making sure I've got all the lyrics and the timing memorized for everything because on this, I'm not even having to play an instrument.
Nice.
It's great. I can kind of be a little lazier because I usually have to play acoustic rhythm at my shows and I'll just accompany myself, which is fine. I'm a decent rhythm player. I'm certainly not lead material at this point, but I can carry it. But yeah, no, I'm working with like talented people and all I have to do is just stand there and sing and be comfortable and have fun. Oh no, what a shame.
you might become addicted to the idea of, hey, I can move around the stage and not have to worry about playing chords or.
Well, and I did that when I was younger. I was in a
Mhm.
few bands then, and it was always really fun. It's just, I really wanted to focus on original music only for a while, and I did, and I'm going to continue that. But also, I found brilliant people, and I want to get them. I want to keep them busy, and the more paying gigs we get, the better off they're going to be. So it's the least I can do to book them. So going from there, yeah, it's a fun outlet that helps pay the bills and gives me a little more freedom to, lean into my songwriting more and lean into my community. So, yeah.
I dig it. So,
So,
if anybody wants to check out your music, shows, all that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
yeah, I've got my website, KristanMikala.com. I've also got a presence on all major social media platforms and all major streaming platforms, even a bunch of obscure ones, thanks to TuneCore. So I'm all over the internet. If you want to find me, you can find me. I'm here.
They got you on Napster. Did TuneCore sell you on Napster?
Probably. I don't know. If somebody wants my music for free, they can just ask me.
Although that would be because I was reading this article that actually Napster is one of the higher paying, like if you like per click or however it works for Napster, like they're one of the highest paying, but nobody really makes any money because I don't think anybody listens to music through Napster anymore.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, like a tenth of a penny is going to be a tenth of a penny no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah. But I think it is very ironic that the site that gave away your music for free is now
Hmm.
the site that pays the best. So,
What a twist. Plot twist of the century.
right? So, but really appreciate your time. What we do at the end of every podcast is we like to pass on knowledge. I know you've been a wealth of knowledge for the young musicians out there already, but what is one piece of advice you learned early on that you would like to pass on?
Mm. Give me a second. You can hum the Jeopardy theme while I ponder.
I almost did the sci-fi theme,
You know what? That counts too. Close enough. Close enough.
right?
Ah, do your best and be good to people. It's not that complicated.
Fair. I feel like you've been saying that the entire episode. So, like it to wrap it up in a nice little bow, that's the
Hmm.
best way to do it. So, but once again, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate your time. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you all later.
Thank you, Tom. It's been a
Yes.
pleasure.
Awesome.